has taken over.
Let's go.
It's Ferrall.
Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible. Hanging out, the bad seed, the broken, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh, people dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up. Ooh, woo, woo. Along with the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, live in Toronto, Ontario today. Mafia running it. Woo, Cam, your father. The rundown, a double shot with Morency from British Columbia this very hour, plus Mitch Lawrence within the walls of this hour. And then in the final hour, the coup de grace, Craig Mish. It's Scoop Mish from Miami, and Elvis will be in the building. Denny Bernstein after the Panthers won the Stanley Cup last night. Cam, good to see you. What did you think of the Cats back-to-back and domination of the Oilers? I was on the Oilers all season to win the Cup from the jump, through the playoffs, through every series, bet on them against the Panthers in the series. But last night I flipped, and I laid the goal and a half at plus $1.54, whatever it was, and cashed. But I didn't want them to win. They just did, and they dominated. I thought every facet of the series. I mean, they throwed at them, 6-1, 5-2, and 5-1. Besides the two Draisaitl overtime games, they got their ass beat.
Yeah, as Prime Minister, we're having a meeting about this Canadian teams and their lack of success in the Stanley Cup Finals. I'll tell you something, Scott. Florida just kicked their ass. They're a deeper team. Bobrovsky is always the best goalie in the playoffs. He saves his best. Edmonton has a lot to do. They need a real defenseman who's not a guy who's a slug defensively. They got good offensive guys, but defensively they're horrible. Skinner and Pickard, those are not answers. Those are, Pickard's been a journeyman and Skinner's a backup goalie. Let's call it out for what it is. The stars on Edmonton didn't show up when they needed to. Where's Connor McDavid? McJesus, you want to be known as a legend, you got to take over games. You didn't. Florida just pounded you into the ground. Marchand and all these guys, know what they are, Scott? They'd rob their mother to win. And that's the type of team, that's what it takes to win, Lord Stanley. The Panthers are animals. They're mean cats.
Ooh. So, honestly, I thought McDavid played better last year.
Yes. Great call by you. And Draisaitl's great, but once he goes sour, his body language just kind of like goes, oh, here, and the team feeds off the negativity. Their defense is awful. Let's call it out for what it is, Scott. Sure, Bouchard's got a 120-mile-an-hour shot, but you see these guys in defensive coverage. Panthers always find lanes, and they're the only team that plays a dump and chase game that actually murders the defenseman and keeps possession of the puck. The Leafs try to do it, but they don't knock anybody down. And watching these Panthers beat the Oilers like this, they could have won in 5 if not for a crazy comeback. It pisses me off even more as a Leaf fan as we took these guys to the brink. But the Panthers are the best team. I don't know if they can keep this core together, Scott. And isn't it amazing? You're a Penguins guy. I'm a Leaf guy. We're not going to see any Stanley Cups, but the good people of Florida get lots.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I got to tell you, Bouchard, he got just picked clean on that first goal by Reinhart. He took a swing at the puck and missed it, and off he went down the left boards and in, and then, burned Skinner. If you look at Skinner and Pickard, they both won 7 games, and Bobrovsky won 16. Total domination in the pipes. You're right about their defense. You're right about their goaltending. I got to tell you, I have a hard time because I thought all year they'd go back and win the Cup. And I said here on this show and on this network that this guy McDavid's bound to get his name on the Stanley Cup. It's every great player that's ever played in the NHL. I'm talking about great players, which is what he is. They all have their name on the Stanley Cup. I mean, maybe you could sit here and go Marcel Dion and no one even cares or knows who that is nowadays. You and I know who he is. But the bottom line is this guy has swung and missed twice, and I don't think they're going back next year to the finals.
Oh, no. They need totally another defenseman or two. another like quality forward on the fourth line that could do more, even though they were pretty decent, I guess. Like their whole team and their defense is a real problem. Their goaltending reeks. So there's a lot of holes with the Edmonton Oilers, Scott, and you know how hard it is to run this thing back, right? And I thought after losing to the Panthers, they'd have some anger and revenge on their minds, but the Panthers are just men. And another thing about the Oilers, too, is look how stupid they take stupid penalties. They're splashing water in guys' faces. They're so, dude, do it like the Panthers do. They're like a wrestler with foreign objects in his groin, man. They do everything dirty that the refs don't see. They're very smart. They're cerebral. No, honestly, Scott, you know what I mean? It's like Abdullah the Butcher. Here comes the razor. I see these guys in the corner, butt end, nuts. Like they do it all. And the refs are like, okay. And the Oilers do it when Kane's going nuts and Perry's going nuts. It's a penalty. Like, they got to be smarter. They got to be smarter. Play Panther hockey. These guys get it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right, so last night, speaking of violence, little beanball action at Chavez Ravine. Tatis got beaned, and I got to tell you, I like what they did. They beaned Ohtani. What did you think of that?
That's fine. Hey, you got hey, it's all fair now. The Dodgers are that team. I know you're going to talk about with Morency because he's Donnie Dodger, but that's what you have to do. You know, you want to take out a big star? I'm fine with that. They used to do it back old school, and now all these new rules, right, Scott? Like, we don't see enforcers in hockey. We don't see stars getting beamed, and you know what? It's part of the game. And if you want to send a message, I don't care who the hell you are when you step in that batter's box. I like your style, Ferrall. Old school. I got no problem with it.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic because, you know, you're going to bean our star, and let's face it, I think Machado and Tatis are both stars. Then we're going to bean your star, and the problem is the Dodgers keep beating them. They're playing again tonight. I kind of like Kolek tonight. We'll get into all the baseball games later. There is a day game today in Seattle at T-Mobile with the Red Sox and Mariners. I wanted to ask you what your thoughts on seeing the Red Sox deal Devers to the Giants, and then Devers last night, he had 2 hits, one of them a gap shot double to right center all the way out to the dead part of the ballpark to the wall, and they loved him. Standing ovation, and he had the bat going already. I think he's going to terrorize the West. I think he's going to terrorize that ballpark. It's got so much room for a pure hitter. This is, I think, not penthouse floor like Barry Bonds, but I think it's the floor right below it with Devers that they snagged him. I said this to Gabe. I said they went after Judge, failed. They went after Ohtani, failed. But they got Devers and they got Chapman. And I think the Giants are, at the end of the day, going to mean business with him in the lineup.
Take a look at that division. You know what I mean? Now Arizona's got so many injuries to the pitching and their back end. They got problems. You got the Giants who are better. The Padres can play, and the Dodgers are awesome. So, Scott, I'm with you, man. And you know what? Red Sox, everyone's like, oh, he's a diva. He's a diva. It's both. There's 2 sides to every story. These guys knew when they had the same position player, they go and get this guy. He's a young guy. He doesn't want to be a DH. And now the Giants, they jump on an attack. Boston, they put him out of town. The Red Sox, you're going to rue to regret this. You said it, Scotty. This guy's going to rake in the National League West.
So, Crochet against Louis Castillo today out there in the Pacific Northwest. What a great matchup. Right now, Boston minus 118, Seattle minus $1.02. Who do you like in that puppy today? It starts in an hour from right now.
I'm actually going to take a shot with the Mariners again. I was on them last night, and they got it done. And I think this is where Boston goes into a little tailspin. I know they were doing well before, but great pitching matchup, Scott. It's hard to take. Are you looking under in this game, depending how long the starters go? Kind of a lean that way, but I really like the Mariners too. I think Castillo will pitch. So give me Seattle as a small dog.
I like the under, but I also am trying to start a losing streak for the Red Sox that continues every single day for the remainder of the season. I'm hoping that they don't win a game for the rest of the way.
Me too.
And it started last night with the Prime Minister today.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games, So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say, yeah, I buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
I'm with you in that you're going to have to take calculated risks. And that's what Leon Rose has been about since he's been here. And he's been measured. He hasn't been gung-ho in terms of mortgaging this franchise's future for immediate gains. They have had a prudent approach, and you're going to have to roll the dice in certain respects to get to that top level. And you're right, Donnie, when you look at next season, all things considered, you hope that they're healthy, and if they roll over, say, 85 to 90% of this roster, this is a top 3 team in the East. With Boston coming down, Milwaukee is going to come down, and so you have to figure it's going to be Indiana, the Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers in some sort of order in the preseason rankings. And so where they go from here, Jason Kidd is obviously the hot name right now. Both sides are interested from what we've heard in terms of Kidd and the New York Knicks. Is he that championship caliber coach to take the Knicks there?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Race weeknights at 10 on all of our TV and radio outlets. You catch Morency on Coast to Coast every day from Vancouver with a double shot. Thank God for that. I'm watching Real Madrid against Al Hilal right now in Miami. I got to tell you, I looked at the game. It's at Hard Rock, and, it just looks hot. I know it's like 90 degrees there, and, it is baking sunshine, and the players are like, just every chance they get, they're just spraying water all over their heads and bodies and faces and down their throats. It looks humid and brutal, but it's always fun to watch Real Madrid play. I don't care who they're playing.
I tell you what, Scott, you got to imagine that the players on Real Madrid and the PSGs of the world are super happy that they're playing at 9 a.m, like at noon Eastern in the Miami American heat. Right? And they're probably thinking, what the F are we even doing here in the first place? But with all the talk of that, I saw the Chelsea guys, they went hard, Scott. Chelsea fans are not happy as Chelsea are partying hard on South Beach. There's all kinds of pictures of them. There's all kinds. They hooked up with a bunch of Instagram models, and people are like, where's Chelsea's priorities? Priorities, it's the summertime. You drop them in Miami for some made-up tournament. You're surprised they went out? Go out, have fun, do what you're going to do. But, yeah, some really tough conditions, Scott, for some of these teams with the weather. Listen, this tournament really shouldn't be in the United States, right? You have all these big-time teams and stuff. If they were playing in more soccer-mad countries, they would have sold more tickets. But this is point-blank, guys, a dress rehearsal for the World Cup next summer. Every one of these World Cup FIFA World Cup games, Scott, they're in the same stadiums and cities where they're going to be playing World Cup games. And at FIFA, it's America. They don't know these stadiums. So literally, it's not like if Fox has the Super Bowl, guys, they'll send their top crew to do a preseason game earlier in the year. All right, this is where we're going to put this. We're going to put the cameras here. We like this. We like that. So FIFA is basically saying, all right, what do we do if we do a game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium? We've never been there before. right? What's it like? What's the hospital? You know what I mean? It's all just a test run. So they don't really care whether there's fans in the stands or not. They're test running for TV for next year, but it's been a fun tournament, Scott. And nothing wrong with action during the day. I know you love watching anything during the day, especially this soccer.
I love it. I love it. I'm watching. I think they got a really good crowd. I'd be sitting there right now with a freshie bacon in the sun. I mean, I'd be loving life right now.
Dude, imagine we were on vacation. I love doing the show, Scott, but crossed my mind. People are like, are you going to this game, this game? I was like, dude, Canada played Honduras last night in Vancouver. 6-0 win for Canada. Couldn't go. I was doing the show. I was thinking the same thing. I saw a couple of people just sitting there at the Dortmund game yesterday, Scott. They were just drinking at like 9 a.m. at MetLife.
Why
I was thinking now, I was like, it's not bad, actually. You spend the summer, you get lit up, get MetLife,
your boy,
going to Manhattan after.
Listen, your boy Mick is in Belfast. I was texting with him today because, half my family's from Belfast. And on the, can I say IRA? No? Don't talk about Jerry Adams. All right. I told him to have a couple of shots and beers on me. He was at a bar in Belfast, and it was literally 8 a.m. in New York, and it was, 6 hours later, whatever, in Belfast, and he was pounding beers at a bar with somebody of his, and I just thought that was badass. And I think he was watching, I don't know what he was watching, cricket, or he was watching rugby, or he was watching something.
Yeah, dude, it was like South Africa versus England or something. Dude, it was one of the biggest. It was so, he told me, this is like a special rugby event, like type of deal. And I'm like, yeah, okay, they're all pretty big. It's pretty big, bro. Like Mick Jagger was there the other day. And
I saw that. I saw that he was there.
Yeah. I think like Kate Middleton, the Queen or whatever. Like, it's big. Like, it's at the Royal Cricket Ground.
About her. They care about.
Yeah, but it's like the sacred cricket ground, I guess, of the world. The Royal Cricket Grounds of England. Yeah. Mick was there, all lit up, and I'm like, man, it's just like there were some big time people at that event. Yeah. Now he's enjoying himself.
Isn't he married to like some 47-year-old chick or something now? He's 80-something.
Yeah. Who, Mick? Yeah. He's got his girlfriend.
I saw a picture the other day
30.
of Keith, and it said he was hanging out. Did you see that picture of him over the balcony with the beer?
He said 3 doctors told me I had 6 months to live. He goes, I buried them all. Keith Richards, he said, over my life, I've had 3 different doctors tell me, you're going to die within 6 months if you keep going. He goes, I was at all their funerals, buried them all.
I know. As he's drinking a half pint, his belly's hanging over the ledge of the balcony. That was great. I thought of you because you live in that big condo in the sky in Vancouver. And I could see you out the balcony with a half pint getting ready to go to a Lions game. All right, so I want to get into this from the start. You know what I did. I did it with you the whole way, betting on the Oilers. But I took him in game 5, and that was the only one I got wrong. Yesterday, you know what I did? I puck lined it and made money on the Panthers. I thought they would get killed. They looked dead to me on Saturday, and then they proved it last night.
It was a nice read from you to understand that they were dead after Saturday night. They did such a great job bouncing back off of losses all playoffs long, but their will got broken somewhere along the way in this series where I don't think they thought they could win. And this one's a lot more devastating than last year. Last year, you lose in 7. There's like, oh, yeah, we can get them next year. And no, well, you got your chance this year, and it went worse, like much worse.
It was worse.
Right? And it was a collective team effort, though, guys, with the Edmonton Oilers. Listen, the Panthers are amazing. Let's just call it out for what it is. We can blame the Oilers, and people are going to, this what happens. Oh, the Oilers lost 2 years in a row. So did a lot of teams to the Panthers. Nobody's beating the Panthers right now. They're the best team in the NHL.
The Leafs gave them the best. Like Cam said, they gave them the best run, the Leafs.
Yeah, but they did the same thing. They got their ass lit up in a game 5 and a game 7 on home ice. Right?
Well, fair enough, but they went 7. I thought this team, I'm surprised, that they got it to 2-2 on the Draisaitl because they got their ass beat after that.
Their goaltending was subpar. We have to call it out for what it is.
We'll come right back with Morency.
Their team total is 19.5 wins. I told you to go under, and it's by far the best bet I have recommended on this network in 4 years. They can't get out of their own way. And now Sloot is out for the year. Let's hope Sloot gets back, because I respect the hell out of Sloot, and I want her to go out on her own terms. Hopefully we'll have her back for the 26th season.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, so I want to talk to you a little bit more about the Oilers, but I also want to get into the Dodgers with you for a second. But I want to say that I want to get your thoughts on it, that I'm concerned about the way I said this to Cam. McDavid, to me, went backwards. Like, he had 7 points in the series. They were a -7 last night, Draisaitl and McDavid. I thought it was embarrassing. Like, they did they shut them off like a water spout. All I know is I don't think they're going back again. And I want to get your vibe on if you think he'll ever win one, because he had 2 swings at it and it got worse. And when are they going to go to the finals again? Because you know how hard it is. Look at Marchand, 11 years. Look at Chelios, 15 years. You think you're going to go because you're young, and the next thing you know, you got gray hairs in your beard, and then you're finished all of a sudden. It goes by quick. And I thought for sure, I told you 100,000 times, Gabe, that he'd get his name on the Stanley Cup. He's too good to not be on the Stanley Cup, but I have my druthers.
I still think that he eventually will, Scott. I'm not ready. He's still super young. Let's just be real. I mean, he's not even 30 years old yet. So there's a lot of hockey left. A good example is Corey Perry. Corey Perry won a Stanley Cup in like 2007, and he's losing cups now, but he won
6
then.
of them.
Right? Yeah. 5 of the last 6 cups he's lost, Corey Perry, which is just almost impossible. People are like, no, what do you mean? He's been on the losing team in 5 of the last 6 years, guys. It's like,
but it's not his fault. It's not his fault they lost.
No. But as far as McDavid is concerned, very disappointing for him, Scott. Like, very, very he's got to, it's going to be some tough reflection for him. Truth be told, he didn't have the best Four Nations face-off either. And he ended up scoring the winning goal, and it sort of mirrored that a little bit. Oh, the big, the overtime goal, and, part of the Crosby progression. And everyone compared him to Crosby and the Penguins, right? They lost, they went back-to-back. Yet, as you stated, he kind of took a step back here. I can't get in his head as to what happened. If he lost faith in his teammates, if he thought that I need to
Sounds like he lost faith in Knobloch. He slammed the team we did the same thing over and over, like beating our head against the wall.
Yeah, so that was frustrating to hear him say that, because you know who was doing the same thing over and over, Scott, was you, Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
And you thought that you were Bobby Orr in 1972. Like, okay, you made a nice play once and you made everyone look stupid. Scott, he did that. He did it like 5 times, bro. And you're playing against the Florida Panthers. Like, he's trying to out-deke 3 Florida Panthers on his own. Like a video game. It's like, bro, okay, you beat the first guy. You know what I mean? You made a nice pass once, but they want you to do this.
They're too
Leon
good.
Draisaitl didn't have an effing shot on goal last night. Where was he? Like, people can talk about Skinner all I want, and I do think Skinner is to blame a lot. But the entire team was, from their lack of discipline, the bad penalties. Knobloch got his ass handed to him, Scott, on a platter as far as being out-coached. Bro, we're in game 106 now of the season, and you keep changing the lineup every goddamn night, Knobloch. Like, even the Oiler players were walking in. They said, like, it's the finals. You're walking in. You don't even know if you're playing. It's like, well, you know, I'm going to go with my gut here.
Do you think
Right?
they'll fire him?
You're out.
Do you think they'll fire him? And then I want to get your thoughts. I got 1 minute. Do you think they'll fire Knobloch because they regressed? And your thoughts on Ohtani getting the rebean last night? And do you think they'll sweep the Padres here?
Yeah, I think they will. They get fired up. It's one thing with the Dodgers, Scott. You know, it's so stupid. Did they really think, so what, you're trying to hit people with like a 67-mile-an-hour pitch? Like San Diego, they're just like, the Dodgers like live. Like they're obsessed with the Dodgers so much. Everything the Dodgers do, they over freak out about.
Yeah.
And they paid a price for it. And one thing about the Dodgers, guys, everybody's like, oh, you know, they're only 17-17 in the last month. Yeah, well, you know what? They beat the Giants when they played them in the series, didn't they? Right now they're going to they just beat San Diego in this series. They beat the Mets in the series. They beat the Yankees in the series. Very Florida Panther-like. Come and beat us. All right. You know what I mean? You can talk about this and that.
Knobloch?
No, I'm not going to fire Knobloch.
Yeah, I'm not feeling very, very good about it.
They got to re-sign McDavid. McDavid's a free agent after next year.
Well,
you want drama.
He's more important than that coach, I'll tell you that much. All right, have a good show tonight, Morency, my man.
See you later, Scott.
Their team total is 19.5 wins. I told you to go under, and it's by far the best bet I have recommended on this network in 4 years. They can't get out of their own way. And now Sloot is out for the year. Let's hope Sloot gets back, because I respect the hell out of Sloot, and I want her to go out on her own terms. Hopefully we'll have her back for the 26th season.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all. It's
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside.
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
buddy Mitch Lawrence from SiriusXM NBA Radio joins us. You can follow him on X at Mitch_Lawrence, and he's a regular on C2C talking about the NBA and any kind of rack at all, for that matter. Obviously, we're about to wrap this thing up when they get to it. We were just talking about how long these breaks are, and I got to tell you, now, look, I think the one thing that helps the Pacers here is that this guy Halliburton has this calf strain. So for 2 days, they're going to treat that and roll that and massage that and work it and do whatever, thumper it, whatever they can to get him ready to go. But I have to tell you, Mitch, seriously, straight up, people said, I heard everyone say, oh, you couldn't tell he was injured. I'm like, my ass. I could tell. You know why? He couldn't get off the ground. His shot was short. He was turning the ball over. He couldn't defend anybody, and he never got to his spots and space at all because he didn't have the step back when his calves popped out. So I don't think I play a lot of ball, and I don't believe for 1 minute I've never seen a guy pull or strain his calf and be back in 2 days. Not one or be effective ever. I've never seen anyone I play with pulls their calf. They're done for 2 weeks. NBA player 2 days. I'm not buying it. I don't think he can be effective.
I agree with you. I think he will be a compromised version. I think he could get re-injured. There's always that possibility. He can make it worse, and he'll be a liability on the court. And you talked about defensively. It's amazing. I know, listen, they put up, 120 points, Oklahoma, and taking a series lead the other night when he was really, that fourth quarter, he was hideous. But they didn't even really go at him. I'm looking for him to go at him, and they had other defenders on Jalen Williams or other defenders on SGA. Okay, fine. But I agree with you. This is a nightmare scenario for the Pacers if he is not 100%. He's not going to be close to 100%. So I think it's going to turn out where he's going to have some decent moments. Like I said, never close the door on could it get worse, and he'll cost them some big time turnovers. It was almost like he was also a step slow and way behind things the other night when he, even in the fourth quarter, Rick Carlisle said, well, he helped us get back to within 2. But in those last 9 minutes, a couple of big turnovers, and he just was awful. Here's a guy who's played elite level basketball with great clutch shots at the end of these playoff games. The other night, he was absolutely dreadful. And as a team, they're falling apart too because their turnovers are these last 2 games. The turnovers are absolutely killing him. And if he continues to turn the ball over, that's going to just help Oklahoma City, even if they're on the road in a hostile environment.
So let me throw this at you. I said yesterday that McConnell played his ass off. He had his best game, 18 points. He's getting whatever he wants. He goes down low, under the basket, comes back out in the paint, hits a popper in front of a 7-footer's face. Every time he does it, he knocks it down, elbows in and in. He's lethal. He's fast. He's quick. He creates space, gets guys wide open, makes good looks. And the guy has anything. Meanwhile, you're playing a guy that can't run, can't defend, can't shoot. His shot is short. Every one of his shots, he was 0 for 6, was hitting the front of the rim because he couldn't get off of the floor. And I got to tell you, this is the first time, and I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it to you. I think Carlisle is a really good coach, without a doubt. And thanks, Dirk, for my ring, because it was Dirk and not him. I cannot believe a coach that good doesn't play this guy that's healthy over a guy that can't do anything. People said, oh, he's fine. As long as he can walk, he's fine. That is bullshit. I would be playing McConnell those minutes, not some guy that's slowing me down, that can't defend, that can't get off the ground and shoot. And he was as bad as Nebhart throwing the ball away late.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's something that's probably going to haunt Indiana here going forward. We'll see what they do if McConnell even merits more time. The other night, he was outstanding. The one thing I will say about Carlisle when he was with Dallas, and yes, Dirk played a huge, enormous role in finally getting his ring. Don't forget, we saw LeBron melt down in those fourth quarters of those games because they threw all kinds of intricate zone defenses. Both Carlisle and Dwayne Casey, who was then his assistant, came up with that. And that totally got LeBron off his game to the point where you never saw him play worse in a series, those fourth quarters against Dallas. So, yeah, I mean, McConnell probably should have played more the other night, but it was shocking to see how bad Halliburton was. I mean, he was just awful. It was just like the guy couldn't do anything right. And that team, Now they're going to pay for it because I think, Oklahoma City's got these last two games, their wins, they're rolling here. They've turned up the defensive screws. They're forcing more turnovers than ever. They forced 39 turnovers, leading to 57 points in the last two games. That's a quarter of their points off turnover. Indiana's sloppy with the ball, mindless turnovers, and Oklahoma City defense, we heard for weeks about how it's this elite premier defense. Sometimes it looks great. Sometimes it looks like it's living up to its billing. Other times not. The last two games in the big spots, they've done a great job.
Mitch, do you think they're going to finish them off tomorrow night in Indianapolis?
I do.
You do?
I do. And here's the reason why. I think SGA, the combination of SGA and now Jalen Williams has been unleashed. I think Indiana's going to have problems stopping them. And I think that the Halliburton injury, they have nobody. Now, McConnell in spots can do a great job. But if you're talking about your season's on the line and this is it for you, you lose and you're done and the other team wins the finals. If Halliburton's not close to 100%, I don't see how they're going to win the game, because then who are you talking about to make a late game shot if you're that close to begin with? That's the problem there. You're going to turn to Siakam. You're going to turn to Nebhard. You're going to turn to Nace. No, you got to have Halliburton. He's got to be your guy. He's got to come with a big effort. I don't see how a team without its best player playing the top ball can beat an Oklahoma City team now that's rolling.
When you saw, because Nebhard, everyone talks about his physical D, and I won't deny that he and Naismith can D up, but I've never seen three worse turnovers in my life late in a game in a finals than that kid had the other night. Those three turnovers were literally, I thought I was watching like a fixed game. I'm like, this guy's throwing the ball to the other team. Like the guy was 5 feet away from him. And he's like, here, take it. And then Halliburton's was just as bad. And I got to tell you, I think Nebhard's turnovers and his lack of productivity, he had 7 points. He's been terrible. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this stuff has been unforced. It's just like these mistakes Indiana's making. You can't figure it out. Other problems have been obviously Oklahoma City's defense. Their hands, the way they play passing lanes has been tremendous. But the way that the last two games have gone and the way that the Indiana players have just turned the ball over time and time again, I just don't know if they can turn it around. I think right now we're seeing the end of the series. I'll be surprised if there's a game 7. I really am.
Caruso's been unbelievable on both ends of the floor, scoring way more than he normally does. Wallace, Wiggins. But I got to tell you, you mentioned him, J-Dub. I mean, 3 straight games over 27. He had a 40-burger the other night. He had the face, too. He was like, woo, like, I am so hot. I'm not missing any shots tonight. He had the soft kiss off the high glass. He had the step back at the elbow going. He was getting to the 10. He's got arms down to his ankles. He is becoming a star. He's not a superstar yet, but he's definitely becoming a star player. And I actually think in the last 3 games, he's been better than Shea.
Well, that last game, how about the plays where he's scoring, taking contact, getting bounced around, and still making the shots? It's like nothing affects him physically because he's a bull out there. And right now, they've got the best 1-2 scoring punch in this series. It could be him, then SGA, or it could be SGA and then him. That's another reason I really like their chances to close the series out. I think Indiana is going to be hard-pressed to match those scorers right there for Oklahoma City, and throwing, the contributions from the other guys, Big Chet, Caruso, the other players, Wallace. I think this lines up really well for Oklahoma City to win its first title as the Thunder. Obviously, they won it in the past as the Supersonics.
Hopefully next week, I think it's next Thursday, right? The NBA draft. We can get you on before the draft and talk about some of these great college kids that are coming into the league. I think the draft's going to be phenomenal this year. Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, of course, Dylan Harper. Enjoy the game tomorrow night, Mitch. Always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis. Because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
The Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, who had such a good training camp last year, and it looked like he was pretty good, I believe, in the preseason, if I'm not mistaken, ended up going down for the full year. The Vikings are still obviously committed to him.
They knew that McCarthy was going to be available at some point in June. And McCarthy actually went on record last week and confirmed 2 weeks ago he was cleared medically. He did work last week. And he's going to be their starter.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I'm with you in that you're going to have to take calculated risks. And that's what Leon Rose has been about since he's been here. And he's been measured. He hasn't been gung-ho in terms of mortgaging this franchise's future for immediate gains. They have had a prudent approach, and you're going to have to roll the dice in certain respects to get to that top level. And you're right, Donnie, when you look at next season, all things considered, you hope that they're healthy, and if they roll over, say, 85 to 90% of this roster, this is a top 3 team in the East. With Boston coming down, you know Milwaukee's going to come down, and so you have to figure it's going to be Indiana, the Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers in some sort of order in the preseason rankings. And so where they go from here, Jason Kidd is obviously the hot name right now. Things that both sides are interested from what we've heard in terms of Kidd and the New York Knicks. Is he that championship caliber coach to take the Knicks there?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back with the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, live in Toronto. The hockey ended last night. Drag. And it's over. And the Panthers beat up on the Oilers 5-1 to repeat as Cup champs. Panthers got out to 1-0 lead in the first 5 minutes of the game, 2-0 at the end of the first, 3-0 at the end of the second, 5-0 with 5 minutes left before the Oilers finally scored a cheap one. Reinhart with 4 goals for the Cats. Here's Reinhart putting the Panthers up 3-0 in the second with his second goal of the game.
Defended by Henrique. Carter Verhaeghe turns, shoots, knocked down by Skinner. Puck is loose.
I mean, it's been since Rocket Richard in 57 that a guy scored 4 goals in a Stanley Cup final game. I mean, this guy went off last night.
Yeah, the Calgary Flames really miss this guy. A couple Flames are like key on Florida. It's unbelievable how they get rid of these guys and they just shine down there. But Scott, how the hell are you going to win a damn series when you're getting outshot 13-4 in the first? Bennett's got more goals than the Edmonton Oilers do in 6 games in the first periods. They come out cold every night and it cost them. You can't come out flat like that every game. They scored the first goal in the series once. Unacceptable. And then they're always chasing. They're always chasing it, and that's not how you do it. Like you got to be up and punch them in the face.
I mean, you're right. Every single game, it was like they were playing catch up. Every game of the series, they got in trouble. Sam Bennett won the Conn Smythe Trophy, but says it could have gone to anyone. He's imagining things.
It's a huge honor. I mean, the depth of this team is just, it's remarkable. The amount of guys that stepped up this year and had incredible years, incredible playoff runs. It truly could have went to anyone. I mean, I'm so grateful. It's such a huge honor, but I truly mean that it could have went to anyone, and couldn't have done it without my teammates. They were unbelievable, and their reactions, they meant the world to me.
All right, let's get real here for a second with all that cheese. We talked about this. So I thought Brad Marchand was great. He was incredible. He had the shorty and then the double overtime winner. Then he had 2 more in Game 5, and he had 6 in the series. I thought he was incredible, but there is no way you cannot give Sam Bennett that Conn Smythe when he had 15 playoff. This is a playoff award, not a finals award. This is not a MVP of the finals. This is an MVP of the entire Stanley Cup playoff run. And Sam Bennett was the man. Simple as that.
Well stated, Scott. Yeah, you want to do podium? Bennett gets gold, Marchand gets silver, and Bobrovsky gets bronze. Those are the three guys that were like absolute standouts for the Panthers, and Carter Verhaeghe's always underrated. But that's what the Panthers do. They have a lot of depth, but you said it. Bennett's an absolute beast. And what I love about Bennett, like some of these other big names, whatever, they talked about him. Oh, should he make Team Canada? Blah, blah, blah. All he does is show up in big games, and that's all I want. I don't care what you do in the regular season. What are you going to do for me when it counts? Bennett's a money player.
There's no doubt. Great point, Cam. You know your hockey. You're on it. Literally on it. Paul Maurice here talking about how special his time in Florida has been. Obviously, when you go to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals.
The Winnipeg people, the ownership, the fans were better than I was at the end. I was just no good, right? I was burnt. But if you're sitting there going, I had 4 of the best fishing days of my life in June. And then on June 4th, my phone rings and it's a number I don't know, so I don't answer it. Why would I? And then I get this really profane text from Trip Tracy, I believe, answer your phone, with other words mixed in, and it was Bill Zito. So from that day to today, this is going to sound crazy. It's actually not the Stanley Cups. Careful what I say.
Okay.
Watching these guys interact with each other,
Okay.
that's been the gift to this place. That's been the best thing for me. We become, when you're burnt out, you are exhausted, cynical, and you believe you're not effective. Those are the 3 components to it, and that cynicism is real. It was somewhat life-altering this year to watch the way they treat each other, and to realize I could treat them the same way.
And I caught an 11-pound largemouth bass.
Exactly. I got a muskie the size of my boat. Anyway, I love Maurice. I covered him when he coached the Leafs. He was great in Winnipeg. And you know what? Perfect team for him. He's a really cerebral guy. But you know what, though, Scott? When you watch Florida, that's what they do. They love each other. There's no disgruntled guys on the bench. First line, fourth line, second, third. It doesn't matter. These guys are a team. They go to war together. And that's why they won 2 cups. And that's hard to do today.
So he's been on my show a bunch of times over the years. Yeah. I've been friends with him. He's been cool to me for a long time, and he always liked the show. And he said I was crazy or something like that. I think he's done a great job down there. I think that he's now he's famous from it. Like, I don't think anyone really appreciated him before. That he's coached forever, everywhere, and I've known him a long time. But this is where he's shined, and they're so deep. And they're so talented. They lost to the Knights, but then they go back to the finals. They win, and then they go back again, back to back. He's, let's face it, set for life. So they spent more time leading during the Stanley Cup Final Series than any previous team in history. They led for 255 minutes and change. That is humiliating. That is humiliating. And Tkachuk said that he tore the abductor off the bone and was dealing with a hernia before the playoffs started. I've had 6 hernia surgeries. He's got nothing on me. And I'm actually trying to tear the abductor off the bone when I play every day.
Under 6.5 hernia surgeries. Oh, God. That's wild, Ferrall.
I've had 6. Every time I do ab work, I think I hear another tear.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, mine was the size of a grapefruit. I've only had 1, but yeah, he was big.
I've had
big.
Listen, I was on vacation once, and I had one in my stomach, and I have a scar to prove it, 6 inches. Yeah. And I said to my wife, I go, "Is that finger supposed to be sticking out of my belly?"
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
The Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, who had such a good training camp last year, and it looked like he was pretty good, I believe, in the preseason, if I'm not mistaken, ended up going down for the full year. The Vikings are still obviously committed to him.
They knew that McCarthy was going to be available at some point in June. And McCarthy actually went on record last week and confirmed 2 weeks ago he was cleared medically. He did work last week. And he's going to be their starter.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I'm with you in that you're going to have to take calculated risks. And that's what Leon Rose has been about since he's been here. And he's been measured. He hasn't been gung-ho in terms of mortgaging this franchise's future for immediate gains. They have had a prudent approach, and you're going to have to roll the dice in certain respects to get to that top level. And you're right, Donnie, when you look at next season, all things considered, you hope that they're healthy, and if they roll over, say, 85 to 90% of this roster, this is a top 3 team in the East. With Boston coming down, you know Milwaukee is going to come down, and so you have to figure it's going to be Indiana, the Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers in some sort of order in the preseason rankings. And so where they go from here, Jason Kidd is obviously the hot name right now. Things both sides are interested from what we've heard in terms of Kidd and the New York Knicks. Is he that championship caliber coach to take the Knicks there?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
For some reason, we like to hear from the losers. I've never been able to figure out why. They never have anything to say. Let's enjoy some of it now. We'll start with Connor McDavid.
Lost to a really good team. Nobody quit. Nobody threw the towel in. They're a heck of a team. You know, the Stanley Cup champions
That's
back
like
to
a
back
guy
for
at
a
the
reason.
sales convention. He just couldn't close the deal.
I mean, obviously their forecheck was great. They tilted the rink. They were able to kind of stay on top of us all over the place. Never really able to generate any momentum up the ice. You know, we kept trying the same thing over and over again, just banging our heads against the wall. So credit to them. They played well.
Listen, I'll give him credit that he stands there every night and is the only guy that ever does an interview besides Draisaitl. The two of them are the only ones that ever talk, and he faces the music. But I'll say this to you. I'll say I have never seen a team have the puck less than them in a Stanley Cup final. I mean, they never had the puck.
Great call by you, Scott. And two, they panicked. They switched up the lines all the time. There was no chemistry. And another thing is, Gabe and I talk about it here in the Canadian media. These Oilers guys, their media, they never stop. Like, they are all old. Like, I don't even know how these guys, like, they got some old curmudgeons, and these guys won't let them off the hook every night. Like, I'm surprised no players, like, put a guy in a headlock or kick them in the teeth. Like, these guys are relentless. Like, I'd hate to deal with the Oilers media. They're sharks.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The Canadian media, when it comes to hockey, is on another level, and so they haven't won it since '93. So the abuse continues. Here's the coach, who I think, personally, I think his days are numbered. Here we go.
No, there's no silver lining to this. It's still heart-wrenching. It's very difficult to handle right now. No, it's just because we were maybe the underdogs going to the LA series, underdogs against Vegas, Dallas series. It hurts right now, and I don't think it's going to let up for a while.
Who does he look like?
sure
Scott?
is
What
a
actor does that guy
coach.
look like? He looks familiar. Is he a guy from like Star Trek or something? There's something about that guy. I don't know what
Chuck
he is.
Knobloch.
Yeah, Chuck. I love Chuck Knobloch. Now, anyway, he looks like somebody, an actor. I got to figure it out. Like,
Do you
kind of
know
like
that? Do you know that Luke is not older than how long it's taken a Canadian team since '93, the Canadians, to win the cup? It's older than Luke. The losing streak is older than Luke.
They're doing spoofs on Canadian TV, Scott, like Law and Order, dun, dun, and they don't show the criminal, but it's the Stanley Cup. Yeah, we almost caught you last year in Edmonton. They do like a big spoof about how a Canadian team hasn't won, and then it's the Stanley Cups in the interrogation room. Like, it's out of control. Like, I don't know. Percentages say we should have had like at least one or two. Like, I get it. There's 7. Like, when, Scott? When? But Gabe brought up a great point last night. These tax-free states. You can make a little bit less. You play in Florida. The media is not all over your ass all the time. Like the Toronto media, Montreal media. These guys, it's a circus there. Like every night, just bam, bam, bam. Like I remember I went to Nashville. You covered you were the play-by-play guy for the Thrashers. It was paradise. I walk in with a belt buckle and a cowboy hat. I'm doing one-on-ones with every guy in the team. In the Leafs room, I'm getting guys who are banging my friends. Like 7th line to 7th defenseman, like Rick Jackman. He's like, "Hey, where's your friend Kim? I want to slay her tonight." I go, "Don't worry, Jackman."
What is happening?
I know, it's unbelievable. Guys talking about like having sex with my friends. That's why I got tape. And my boss is like, "Oh, can we only get Rick Jackman?" Because I go, "Sundin's not available."
Let's see the odds for the Cup next year, as if that matters. The Canes are plus 700. The Canes never win anything.
Why?
The Panthers. How about the Canes are favored over the Panthers and the Oilers? Please, this is the worst list I've ever seen.
I agree. Your odds suck. By the way, Dallas should they gave Edmonton a fight. No, welcome the Canes are the favorite all the time. It's like enough, guys. Like, just don't do it. Put them at 11 or 12. There's no need for 7. Like, do
you think that they could actually go back and three-peat?
Florida? Yeah, if they keep their damn core, they can. We'll see how Zito and those guys work it out. But, man, they're good. They're deep. They're mean. Yes.
Wow, that's crazy. One other note from hockey. The Rangers re-signed Matt Rempe to a 2-year, $1.9 million deal. His job is to knock people's teeth out.
Right.
He has no other role. That's why they gave him no money whatsoever. And the Rangers have Sully now. At least they have a good coach. We'll come back to hour number 2 of C2C.
Have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make a case for the Rangers. They showed some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card. But I do think it's going to be a 2-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say I buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.